Brittany.
Oh, hey!
What are you doing?
I'm actually getting ready to feed some fish.
Is it okay if we ask you a bunch of questions while you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. What do you do at Science North?
I am a staff scientist, and I work on the third floor of Science North, so I do a lot of stuff with animals. Some of the things that I do is I do some research and evaluation on the exhibits that we have and around the Science Center, and I run our Science Cafe evening nights at a local pub.
How long have you worked at Science North?
I've been here now going on 15 years.
What did you study in school?
I studied marine biology out in Halifax, and when I was out there, I kind of realized I didn't really want to do research, that kind of research anyway, for the rest of my life. So I decided I would head into the science communication route. I'd been doing it as a teenager for most of my summers working for Ontario Parks, and I really enjoyed it, so that's what I made a career out of.
What is a little known fact about you?
It's funny, I'm actually a total open book. Most people know most of the facts about me, but I think one of the things that I think is kind of funny is that my very first job, I was working out in northwestern Ontario in Thunder Bay. And it was super crazy hot summer when I was working out there. I was 17, and I had hair just about as long as I have now. And I decided that I didn't want it anymore, and I shaved it all off until I was completely bald because I couldn't stand the black flies that were up there that summer.
What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal here is by far beavers. I love Drifter. Drifter's been here since the day basically I started working here too, and we've spent our whole careers together, and he's just like a coworker. He's definitely my favorite, and beavers are such interesting creatures to begin with. But I think overall, if you're asking me like any animal, I definitely have to say the bottlenose whale, which is a whale that you find off the coast of Nova Scotia. It's a little known species, but a really important keystone species out on that coast.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I think I would end up somewhere north of the Arctic Circle. One of the places I always wanted to go when I was a student was up to an island called Svalbard, which is part of Norway, up in the Arctic Ocean north of Norway. They have a polar bear research station up there, and it was something that I had always wanted to experience, living a full year with 6 months of daylight and 6 months of darkness. That's pretty cool.
Now, if you went on vacation anywhere, where would you go?
I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself, but I love the North, and I've always wanted to go to Alaska just as a whole state and area. It's actually pretty incredible. They have rainforest, coastal areas into the south. They have Arctic to the north. I've always wanted to see Arctic beluga whales up there. That's kind of been a dream of mine, and I'm also an angler, so it wouldn't hurt to go salmon fishing out there too.
Tell us a neat fact about whales.
Okay, you've caught me. I can't think of one, but I'm going to talk about something that I found really interesting the other day. I was listening to CBC Radio, and they had some scientists on there who had done some recent studies with bowhead whales in the Arctic, and they were actually studying their songs, which is kind of neat. And they looked at their songs, and they actually realized that part of their cadences of their songs actually had the sounds of jazz music and similar to jazz music. And when they were asking, like, well, what does the music sound like? It's like, well, it's like a Miles Davis song, which I thought was pretty neat.
Are you a musical person?
Oh yeah, I'm a total music. I played piano, I sang, I was in all kinds of musicals growing up. It's like been like one of the things I've done since I was 3 years old.
If you could play any character on Broadway, who would you play?
When I was a teenager, I always wanted to play the role of Eponine. She was this character of unrequited love, and I think I felt like that a lot when I was a teenager, and so I really related to her. But now that I'm older, there's some other roles that I would really, really love to play. I think one of them would be Fantine in Les Mis. That was kind of a cool role, and I'd love to have the vocal chops of Elphaba in Wicked. That would be amazing.
You help organize the science cafes. What is a science cafe?
Well, science cafes are really great experiences where you get to go to a pub, hang out with a scientist, have a beer, and just really discuss with them and with your audience around you really important scientific issues that we're experiencing in our world today. It's a pretty fun experience of just being kind of relaxed and talking about science.
What is the best part about working at Science North?
I think the best part is that I get to be creative every single day. And not often in science do you get to do that. Science is often full of rigor and repeating tasks over and over again. And And that's not what it's like here. I get to be creative in my job, and I get to share what I love. Pretty fun.
It's awesome. Thank you, Amy.
Hey, thanks a lot. I actually got to make some beaver food, so Drifter's getting a little hungry, so I'll see you guys later.